the DAC, but I'm the PGS coordinator, I am the professional development coordinator. And I told her earlier, as everybody's presenting, I keep thinking, oh, I need to do that, oh, I need to do that, oh, my district needs that, I want to do that, we need this. So I'm learning a lot and taking a lot of things back to my district. And when we began the Appalachian Leadership Lab, I started thinking very practical about the issues I have in my district. And one of the things that comes up every time is when we send teachers to regional trainings or to trainings around the state, we only have limited funds, so we can't send every teacher to standards-based grading, or we can't send every teacher here today. So what do we do when those teachers go and come back to our district? How do we make that happen? What's the follow through? Because I can't be at every one of those things either. So how do we handle that situation? What do we do? How do we make sure that the learning that happens within our district is spread throughout the district so that we're all more effective? And that's my capstone challenge, and I think that's a challenge we all face. Letcher County is a small district in my opinion, but we have 9 schools, 5 elementaries, 3 middle schools, and a high school. The high school is easy to take care of because I only have one of those. So in my planning and when I think about things, I think, okay, the high schools, I can deal with the high school, it pretty well takes care of itself. But my elementaries and middle schools. So because there's so many good things out there, I wanted to concentrate on one thing, and that being our teacher leader networks. This year our science and social studies teacher leader networks meet monthly, and we send representatives to those meetings, with standards being newly released and coming out. It's one of the most pressing issues. So that's why I chose those things to work with particularly, and then hoping as we work through this process and see what works for us, then we can branch out and do what works for Letcher County, and that may not work for our other counties, but I want to find out what works for us. So that's my problem. My initial learning of what I did is I started researching what other districts do, what we've done in the past. This is only my 3rd year. I feel like I'm brand new. I learn something every day. I wanted to know what we've done in the past, what worked for us, plus what other districts are doing. And then I met with my teacher leaders. I chose to send 4 teacher leaders, 1 at each level, like a primary and intermediate, a middle school, and a high school person, because they each have unique needs. And so I chose to send those. So I have 4 teachers going to science, and I have 4 teachers going to social studies. But then back in my district, I have 30 primary teachers. So I have them all represented. So I met with them and I got their ideas. And I listed on the handout that Jennifer gave you, I listed some of their ideas. And they're much more creative than I am. They want to explore all the technology issues or options to share back in our district. We've talked about breakfast meetings, lunch meetings. I think somebody said earlier, if you feed them, they will come. So we talked about that. We talked about after school meetings. Just use an email. There's some things that you can share when you get out in a meeting that you can share through email immediately. So we're looking at all of our technology options, Skype, Link, whatever option that might be, plus how to creatively arrange meetings and keep teachers in classrooms. That's a real issue for us. I know every time we substitute teachers in the classroom, the most effective learning is probably not taking place. So we want to keep teachers in classrooms. And funds are limited. It would be great if we could put enough subs in classrooms and bring everybody in and spend the day learning, but I don't have the money to pay for substitutes to do that either. So we have to be innovative with our money and innovative with the way that we meet and do things. So some of the ideas were those, like a breakfast meeting where teachers you just cover for a half an hour, or even half a day for a teacher instead of having to get a full day sub. So you could do a breakfast meeting. The after school sessions, we've done quite a bit of that in the past, and you open it up, and you don't get a lot of participation because everybody has students that are involved in after school activities, and life catches up with you after school. But our goal is to try several approaches. I met with them, we talked about their ideas, we talked about some of the information I had gathered, and I'm still gathering ideas. So if y'all do anything creative in your own districts, share with us. We're going to try several approaches and see what works best for us, see what participation we get from teachers and what learning takes place, and then what we see happen in the classroom. So part of that is communication with me and communication with that principal and involving those people so that they're the ones in the classroom and can see that the learning that teachers are bringing back is carried out in the classroom. and that's gonna hopefully elevate our effectiveness. One thing that I've already learned, and I have a teacher from my district in here just by accident, but one thing I've already learned is it's very important that you get the right people going to those meetings. You have to have your teacher leaders that are willing to come back and put some extra time in to share with other teachers. And everybody's not built for that. Probably my first few years of teaching, I wasn't built for that. So it's really important, and it's not a negative thing, it's just sometimes you have to work through some people, because some of the best classroom teachers may not be the best people to bring information back to other teachers. So I'm learning about some of my teachers in my district and working with them in that constant communication. And it's pretty exciting. I love working with teachers, so when they come back, I'm getting emails during those trainings, and they're saying, oh, we're doing this and this is great, I can't wait to share it. So we're going to try all those options, see how that works, and then in the spring hopefully have a structure for what Letcher County is going to do. And my goal is for me to kind of remove myself from this process, put my teacher leaders in control as they attend these meetings, as they do things, they plan and work together and decide how to share it out and facilitate those meetings. And I'm just an afterthought. They send me the email and say, we're doing this. So that's the goal. We're not there yet, but we're going to get there because we're learning a lot of good things, and we're going to share that within our district. Any questions or ideas off the, any innovative ideas that you do in your district, I'll gladly take.